You know that feeling when the person you trusted most slowly starts erasing all the good things inside you, not with shouts or threats, but just by being around? That's how bad influences work. They turn light into shadow, courage into fear, and healthy habits into invisible scars. In today's video, you'll learn how to spot these people before they steal your peace, and discover the key to getting back what they tried to take from you. Stay until the end, this could change your story. When we talk about bad influences, a lot of parents think this only applies to kids and teens. But the truth is much deeper. No one is completely safe from this kind of influence, not young people, not adults, not even older folks. At some point, all of us can be shaped by who we let into our lives. That's why guidance at home becomes such a powerful protection, like an invisible shield. Parents, your kids grow up in a world where the pressure to fit in is overwhelming. A child who just wanted to be kind can turn into someone aggressive just by spending time with peers who value putting others down. A promising teen can quit school, throw away opportunities, and even change their whole character just to hold on to a group that cheers them on. These choices leave deep marks. There are young people who lost scholarships, brilliant careers, and real friendships, all because of people who pushed them toward wrong choices with a smile that felt like understanding. But adults fall too. How many talented professionals got caught up with negative, lazy, gossiping coworkers and ended up damaging their reputation? People who had a clear future got dragged into drama, rumors, or reckless decisions just because they followed the wrong crowd. Marriages have ended because a well-meaning friend encouraged behaviors that hurt the relationship. Families have been torn apart because someone trusted too deeply someone who only wanted to plant doubt and bitterness. Even older adults, who think they've seen enough to recognize danger, can be influenced by manipulative people who slip into their routines and twist their peace. The pain from these influences is real: guilt, regret, mental confusion, loss of identity, weakened faith, shattered self-worth, dreams abandoned. People who had everything going for them ended up lost because they trusted someone who didn't deserve even one step on their path. But there is a safe way forward, and it starts with awareness. The first rule is vigilance. Pay attention to the behaviors your kids are copying, the phrases they repeat, the values they're replacing. Simple conversations can prevent huge damage. The second is example. Kids learn more from what they see than what they hear. Show them, in your everyday life, how to choose healthy friendships, how to avoid gossip, how to build environments that strengthen what's good. And above all, teach and live this essential truth. Whoever holds on to their values will never truly lose themselves, even when everything around them tries to pull them off course. Learn to cut off, firmly and with love, any influence that weakens who you are. Teach your kids to recognize people who drain their energy, encourage chaos, disrespect, or laziness. Show them that a true friend is the one who lifts you up, not pushes you toward the edge. Because in the end, bad influences can destroy careers, families, futures, and peace, but wise companions, right choices, and strong values have the power to rebuild everything that was threatened. And this decision starts at home. Today. With you. To make all of this even clearer, let's walk through a path that reveals truth in simple, powerful ways, small stories, like modern parables, showing in practice how bad influences can destroy, and how wise choices can save entire destinies. Let's begin. Lucas was always the pride of his family. A disciplined, dedicated young man with a clear dream, to become an engineer. His parents cherished every report card, every achievement, every detail that showed how different he was: responsible, grounded, full of purpose. His girlfriend, Anna, always said Lucas had a spark in his eyes that inspired everyone around him. But everything started to change when he got to college and started spending time with a group that mocked hard work. "Relax, none of this really matters," they'd say. They skipped class, laughed at the serious students, and called any kind of commitment silly. Lucas joined them thinking it was harmless, just to fit in. But slowly, each idea, each conversation, each attitude of theirs chipped away at who he really was. The changes showed up at home before he even noticed. His mom saw that her once talkative son now came home quiet, irritable, drained. His dad tried talking to him, but Lucas answered quickly, like he was already somewhere else. Anna, his girlfriend, was the first to feel something inside him breaking. The boy who used to make plans with her started canceling dates, ignoring messages, and treating her dreams like they were overblown. His silence hurt more than any harsh word. His fall happened fast. Lucas traded studying for parties, commitments for impulses, goals for approval. He started laughing at the hard-working students, something he never thought he'd ever do. He missed deadlines, lost grades, and little by little, lost respect for himself. At home, his mother cried in silence. Anna prayed for him, not knowing how to reach him. His dad tried to warn him, but Lucas shut down, as if he were trapped in a version of himself he no longer recognized. One day, his professor called him after class. Looking him in the eyes, he spoke firmly, but with kindness. "You're not this Lucas. Someone turned off your light. You let the wrong people lead you." Those words pierced his heart like pure truth. For the first time, Lucas realized he was becoming someone he would have hated. That night, sitting alone in his room, he remembered the faith he carried as a child, the conversations with Anna, his parents' proud glances, the promise he'd made to himself never to grow weak in the face of bad choices. Tears came, not from sadness, but from awakening. With quiet courage, Lucas stepped away from the group. He blocked invitations, turned down parties, ended conversations that drained his character. It was hard. He trembled with fear of being alone. But for the first time in months, he felt something inside him start to breathe again. He began again. He caught up on deadlines, sought help, studied harder than ever. Slowly, the old Lucas returned, stronger, more aware, more in control of himself. His parents smiled again. Anna saw the light come back in his eyes. And Lucas understood the greatest truth of all. Some friendships don't just take your time, they take your future. But the courage to walk away restores everything you were losing, and brings you back to yourself. Clara was gentle, calm, and kind. At school, she had a purity that even teachers admired. But a group of popular girls decided to draw her in. They laughed at everything, even at others. They made it clear that being cool meant being cruel. Clara, who had always stood up for classmates, began copying their behavior, afraid of being rejected. One day, she saw a new girl being humiliated, and found herself laughing along. In that moment, something inside her broke. That night, she told her mom, "I've become someone I never wanted to be." Her mom held her and said, "Anyone who makes you lose your light doesn't deserve to walk beside you." The next day, Clara apologized to the girl and walked away from the group. She reclaimed her essence and learned that acceptance you buy comes at a high price. Sometimes, it costs your very heart. Eduardo was known at work for his dedication and calm. He did everything with excellence. Until he was transferred to a department full of drama. Two co-workers constantly complained, mocked others, and said, "No one here is any good." Slowly, Eduardo began talking like them, complaining like them, acting like them. He came home exhausted, carrying a sadness he couldn't explain. Until one day he heard his son say, "Dad, why are you always so angry now?" That sentence woke something inside him. He realized it wasn't his nature, it was the reflection of his environment. He switched departments, cut out toxic conversations, and returned to his old habits. Within weeks, he was smiling again. He learned that bad influences don't just pollute the atmosphere, they poison the soul. Jonas grew up going to church. He had simple, genuine faith. But he began spending time with people who, despite their spiritual appearance, spent their days criticizing everyone, leaders, members, ministries. They spoke with arrogance, judged without mercy, and fed resentment. Jonas, wanting to seem mature, went along with it. Suddenly, everything irritated him, nothing built him up. Then, on a quiet day, he realized it wasn't the church that had changed, it was the voices he'd allowed to influence his heart. He stepped away from that group and drew closer to people who actually lived what they preached. His faith returned with strength. Jonas understood that some companions don't pull you away from God by touching your hand, they touch your mind. If this video opened your eyes, imagine how much more you could learn. Subscribe now and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next video. Each lesson will help you see what so many still miss, and protect what truly matters, your peace, your heart.